Arlington National Cemetery, where Brian and Alma Hart of Massachusetts buried their only boy, Army Private John Hart, killed in Iraq in October 2003 when his Humvee was attacked.
John fought off the insurgents until he ran out of ammunition, and then he was shot in the neck.
It was the start of the war, when soldiers like John Hart were sent into battle with a lethal lack of protection. 1 week before his death, John called his parents about unarmored Humvees.
What's always haunted me is that John said, they're just going to keep sending us out like this till somebody gets killed.
A father's heartbreak turned to fury when he learned thousands of vehicles in Iraq had no armor.
If John were willing to die protecting the 3 other men in his vehicle, then we sure as heck could spend some time making sure that they were better equipped.
So Citizen Hart came to Washington, where he set out on a mission to make sure other soldiers in Iraq had better equipment than his son.
On Thursday, I'll give you a call.
Ted Kennedy attended John Hart's funeral at Arlington. Now, he and Brian Hart, originally from Texas and a self-described conservative Republican, are unusual allies.
He raised the body armor and vehicular armor issue and used John as an example. And that's how the whole issue of procurement went public.
He visited Humvee plants, cultivated sources in the Pentagon and the defense industry.
Frankly, I developed what I would call cubicle patriot sources that were willing to tell me what was wrong.
He pushed, prodded, and embarrassed the military to make armored Humvees a priority. Kennedy calls Brian Hart a one-man armed services committee.
So you've got to be patient, but you've got to be restless and persevering. And Brian has just had that in spades. And he brings a knowledge to this subject matter that few people had.
But this father's obsession angered the military bureaucracy. When he asked for records of the event that killed his son, Brian Hart was told they were gone.
Everything. Somebody pulled the files or took them.
What happened? A cover-up of a mistake? Retribution against whistleblower Hart? He isn't sure, but he wants to know.
There are some officers that are helping us and some that aren't. Some that we even had to threaten with the FBI. And it's a terrible situation, but it's one we're dealing with.
In their grief, the Harts have been happy to know their efforts have helped others.
One of the nicest things we ever got was a letter from a mother of a Marine who sent us a thank you letter. He'd only lost his foot. I felt bad, because I knew a little more armor could have protected that kid.
Brian Hart, father of a fallen soldier, a man still on a mission. For Today, Mike Barnacle, Bedford, Massachusetts.